could join me. Always takes a minute or two for people to get into the room or to even get the notifications. So give you a second here to get on in, then we'll get started. A lot going on today. Oh, so much. Oh, so much going on today. We had a solar flare yesterday. That was unexpected. And it's not being talked about. It's really not something that's being given the press that it deserves. It's very interesting because it is part of the Ascension process, the call to something greater that a lot of people are hearing and responding to, and deciding that they want something better than what they've always had. So we are up-leveling out of karmic cycles in a huge way ever since the eclipse in April and until the eclipse coming up on the 17th, just coming up with the full moon in Pisces. It is this window of opportunity to embrace the unknown and to come into a world where there is a collective agreement about how we treat each other. Oh, thank you, Eve. My Kundalini awakening last year and this year it's done a number on me. Yeah. Don't meet your twin flame unless you want to have a really, really upsetting Kundalini awakening. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Stay home. So there's a huge process here that we're all going through when it comes to clarifying who and what we really are. So this is huge. The sun and the moon are together at 11 degrees. And there's a lot going on otherwise. So Virgo is about practice. It's about the practice that makes us perfect. So when we have practice in Virgo, it prepares us for mastery. And we are being prepared for spiritual mastery. Spiritual gifts have been coming in to those who are open to it. This has been an incredibly spiritual year. And it's an elevation process where so many of us are connecting to what is really inside instead of what's outside. We are not giving in to the apparent look of something, the apparent, the appearance of things. And we are referring to what we know to be true. What is that guidance that comes from within that you cannot replace with outside advice? Because it's not what we think, it's what we know to be true. So many people have been up-leveling out of being very easily led, codependency, just believing what sounds good. If people who are very gullible, that's been worked on a lot over last year and this year, because Virgo has us really looking at the facts of things. It's unadorned. It's a very modest plain, grounded sign. And we have the sun and the moon there together. And it's a restart. We're planting seeds, new seeds of abundance, seeds of wholeness, seeds that allow us to grow into better people. We're looking at how can I refine my routines so I can feel better, I can sleep better, how can I eat better, how can I be better? And what do I have to do on a regular basis? How do I need to check myself? Because a lot of us were really streaming towards a higher evolution until we got into August. And then there was something that came up that got us. And this is the test. This is a test for a lot of people. Are you really that gullible? Do you really think it can be that easy? Do you really not have to give up anything or sacrifice anything or improve or let anything go? Because the light workers of the world are letting everything go. The divine feminines, finished high priestesses of this world, are also letting everything go. There's been a lot of feminine figures that over last year and this year, over next year and the year after, are going to be worked on very, very heavily. Because that's the key to bringing in a more inclusive, a softer, a more abundant new paradigm. It's a shift from patriarchy to matriarchy. And this is the big window that's opening up right now when it comes to feminine figures, and that can be a male. There can be men that identify as feminine figures. But feminine figures in the world that know themselves well enough and have attained a level of self-mastery to where they are going to be receiving their callings and understanding what it is that they're really meant for. It's a very esoteric time. Not everybody understands what's going on because they're not on that wavelength. And between now and 2026, well, actually between 2023 and 2026 is where we are flying into New Earth. And it's happening very, very quickly. Because once we reach a number of people that are on the same page, that vibrate at the same frequency, there is a switcheroo into a new way of thinking, treating each other, and where do we get our information? This is a huge thing here. Where do we get our information? Do you get it from those who are trying to convince you? Or do you get it from those who tell you, but you can take it or leave it? In fact, you can take them or leave them, because they're also not trying to control you. So we're giving up control. light workers of the world, we are giving up control. And we are surrendering to what is good for us. How do you know it's good for you? It feels right. It's a knowing. It's not a wondering. It's not an analyzing. It's not an asking. It can't be manipulated when you are sure. And you're willing to be wrong as well. If you're not willing to be wrong, then you'll never allow yourself to be sure. You'll have to find somebody out there to give you confirmation or ideas or advice, because if you're wrong, you have to have somebody to blame. Somebody has to have told you what to do. There has to be something you can shift. And really taking full, total responsibility for what you know requires the ability to handle being wrong. It won't kill you. So let's talk about all the things that are going on here. There's a lot of aspects that are occurring here. We have Sun and Moon exactly together at 11 degrees in Virgo. We have Mercury making multiple aspects. It is out of retrograde, but it's not totally out of the woods here. Not until we get into Virgo again. So we have Mercury at about, 23 degrees? Let me look, 23 degrees in Leo, in a biquintile to Neptune, in a trine to Chiron, and in a square, a wide square to Uranus. So the biquintile from Mercury to Neptune makes it easier for us to access more higher or esoteric or spiritual information. So we are able to access, because it's a biquintile, more effortlessly what is beyond the realm of analysis. What's beyond the realm of the mind? What is more higher guidance? So that comes in easily and mixes with Mercury today. And then we have Mercury in the beautiful trine to Chiron, which is about healing things related to the chattering mind, divisions in our divisions within us that keep us from understanding a complete picture. So Mercury runs around within us, and he connects all of the messages that the organs produce to each other, right? He runs everything, runs all the messages from organ to organ to the brain. He's always flitting around, right? There's two of him. One really represents right brain and one's left brain. And with that trine to Chiron, we have more breakthroughs regarding how has either trauma or wounding or unaddressed things that we've been through, how is that affecting our perceptions? How is it that if we have ideas that are born out of unhealed events or suffering or trauma, how does that affect the way that we analyze and parse out facts and decide what's what? So we have a very clear window into looking at that today. And then we've got that wide square from Mercury to Uranus, which is encouraging innovative thinking. thinking outside of the box. Sometimes it can be very overreactive when it comes to feeling like we need to be right first. So we can be engaging in some knee-jerk uh, knee-jerk gotcha moments. So there's a lot going on with Mercury in terms of what it is that we're trying to understand and process on a mental level today. So some spiritual downloads, some ideas related to how has what I've been through and not healed from that. How is that affecting my perceptions? And also looking at how can we start to generate some very new ideas that might be actually quite radical compared to what we have been thinking previously. Mercury squares to Uranus have us looking at how might we solve something, or how might we find a solution to something that is really somewhat of an unconventional approach. And then we've got Mars at almost 29 degrees and in conjunction to Pluto. This is having us look at, are we using our power, our life force, our sexual power? Are we using that appropriately in a way that is honoring to both us and whoever else it is that we're engaging with? So we're looking at really the strength of our desires and how we will go, how we will often go to the maximum degree to keep something from exploding. So there's this feeling of another shoe is just about to drop at about this time, because there is like this need within many of us to figure out what is that bit of a demon that we're being driven by, and how is it disrupting our conscious plans for success. Mars is also in a square to Neptune. So there's a lot going on here in terms of, are we using our power, our sexuality in a way that that's unhealed? Are we acting out? If we are acting out, what is the core need that we're trying to serve, that we're trying to fill? What is it that we're trying to get out of it? Because many of us can reach a point here, because we have Mars at 29 degrees, Pluto at 29 degrees, Neptune at 29 degrees. This is like the last chance for us to realize, how have we been brutal, selfish? How have we misused our sexuality or our sexual power? And then we've got more. Venus sitting at the South Node. This is the draining away of the karmic contracts that are completed between divine masculine and divine feminine. This is it. So we have a completion or a draining away or the karmic contracts that we see that are very alchemical. They inspire us to become a better version of ourselves. They inspire us to alchemize. They inspire us to change. They inspire us to grow. They inspire us to discover ourselves. This is the ascension point. We go up through the south node. We come through the eye of the needle in the north node, and you can take nothing with you. Nothing can go with you except the knowledge, the wisdom, whatever you have gained internally. Nothing and no one can come with you. So this is a new moon, and then coming into the full moon, where we see a lot of feminine figures that have alchemized, that have gone through the process, that have gone through a clearing and an awakening. They are really seeing the ending of these karmic contracts that put us on that trajectory of self-discovery. So there's a letting go of what a fully alchemized high priestess thought she wanted, because we choose only ourselves. The alchemical process is not about partnering with another. It's about partnering with yourself. It's about completion within yourself. And that feeling of wholeness, of total oneness, trust, the ability to be alone, the ability to appreciate oneself, all at the south node. So it's this beautiful, beautiful time of coming to grips with our softness, our sweetness, appreciating it. Having reverence for it. Leaning in to our gifts. Embracing our femininity. And being totally happy as a clam with what we've got. So don't worry, guys. I'm blocking him. He's just a troll. Don't worry about him. So Venus at the South Node. Something is always taken away. What's taken away is the fear of being female, the fear of being soft, the fear of being vulnerable. So we have This guy is awesome. Are you seeing these comments? These are fabulous. Let's see. There we go. Alrighty, what else have we got going on? So the outer planets are harmonizing very well with each other. We have Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, all doing very well, which bodes well for social success. Having good synergy here when it comes to getting a hold of some social problems. We have Pluto just having retrograded yesterday into Capricorn at 29 degrees. So this is the last chance. This is the last chance to really address the systemic problems in our own life and within government and institutions. So we are excavating what is it that is within our own nature that is intensely confining. At 29 degrees, and the last time that it's coming into Capricorn, this is the last chance to really root those things out so we can have the kind of liberation that we're looking for in Aquarius. So we're looking at, what am I bound by? What am I confined by? What did my parents do to me? How have I not individuated? How am I disempowering myself? These are all Capricorn things here. So that being in good aspect to Uranus and Neptune does suggest that we are going to have some opening up when it comes to social programs, our institutions being more inclusive, taking a final look at what is exclusive. So there's more room for more people to join the system or belong to systems in ways where we have our human needs met, more compassionate, inclusive systems. So those are the major things. We do have other things going on. We have Lilith, we have asteroids going on. We have a lot of feminine asteroids going on. I'm not going to get into all of those. All right, he needs to go away. Goodbye, mister, again. I'm not going to get into all those asteroids. They're very numerous. They're wild feminine asteroids, and they're almost all involved. We have Algol, we have Lilith, we have Kali. Kali. My favorite goddess of all time. I wear her every day. Kali Yantra. Somebody asked about that in the comments. Kali herself. And this is what I earned this year. The Alchemical seal. I earned it. So there is a lot going on in terms of planting new seeds that are going to help us step in to being more masterful, to becoming more spiritually masterful, more masterful when it comes to controlling ourselves, more in charge of ourself. This is the month where we check ourselves. And if you do that check and you're checking off all those boxes and everything that's going good for you, and last month and this month, one of the best months ever, you're not ascending. You're eating, drinking, and being merry right at the 11th hour. And you're not understanding. We are so close. close. The time is now. If you're not serious about self-development, if you just want to soothe your ego, if you want to have what you've always had, if you want to bring it all back, well, we're not going to be an energetic match. Find your tribe. This is the month. Find those who vibrate at the same delightful frequency that you do. This is the month that we really, really do start to form new bonds. And we start to rebuild our social bonds. But we can't do that until we've unified within ourselves. If we're looking at something outside of ourselves to do that for us, to bring us something, then we're dependent. And we're easy to fool. Be smart. Listen to your heart. I'll see you guys tomorrow.